Greetings, everyone. It's Crime Talk with Crin, and we are back with episode 23. Welcome back to my day ones. Welcome to all my new subscribers. If you are new here, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it. This episode it's not going to be too long, but I got some stuff to say. So we are going to talk about the case of Marcellus Williams, and a lot of you may be familiar with this. It's been all over the news. It's been all over social media, and I couldn't resist it, so here we are. If you're not familiar with the story of Marcellus Williams, I'm going to get into a really quick overview. I'm not going to be here terribly long today, but I just want to tell you a little bit about what's going on here, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So Marcellus Williams is set to be executed today. Today is September 24th, 2024. And he is scheduled to be executed at 6 p.m. Missouri time. I don't have down to the minute updates, but this seems like it's going to be something that goes down to the wire. So Marcellus Williams was accused and convicted of the murder of a newspaper reporter in 1998, someone by the name of Felicia Gale. So this is going on in Missouri. And so it seems like there wasn't any evidence to point to him. And it seems like it was his own people that may have turned him in. The witnesses are now dead. It's a lot. It is a lot. But Felicia Gale she was murdered in her home. She was stabbed 43 times, and there was according to what I've seen, there's no forensic evidence that pointed to him. They found bloody shoe prints, fingerprints, a knife sheath of all things. And there was hair found, and it doesn't seem like any of these things immediately pointed to Marcellus Williams. So it's an odd case. It's an odd case, but he was convicted, sentenced to death, and now he's scheduled to be executed today. So I'm going to read this directly from USA Today, just so you guys can see what's going on. So it says that a suspect was not immediately named. So in May of 1999, Gale's family announced a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the case. Not long after, an inmate named Henry Cole and Marcellus Williams' girlfriend, Laura Asaro, named Williams as the culprit. At the time of this conviction, Williams had just started serving a 20-year prison sentence for robbing a downtown St. Louis donut shop. 20 years for a robbery seems excessive, but we'll continue. So, no forensic evidence tied Williams to the crime scene, but a jury convicted him of murder and burglary. Williams' attorneys have argued that both informants stood to benefit from their cooperation with prosecutors and that their stories sometimes changed or conflicted with other details about the killings. Both witnesses have since died. So, Laura and Henry are both dead. Henry Cole was an inmate at the time. Laura was Marcellus's girlfriend at the time. And they both said that he did it. They both named him. Apparently, according to USA Today, they had conflicting stories. The math wasn't mathing. He was convicted anyway. So again, I go back to there were bloody shoe prints, fingerprints, a knife sheath, and hair collected from Miss Gale's shirt, hands, and the floor. Her purse was missing, her jacket was missing, and her husband's laptop was missing. None of this evidence tied Marcellus Williams to the crime. That's important. That's important. So I was already interested in the case, right? Because I saw that they were trying to get his conviction overturned. I saw that they were trying to get his, a stay at the execution. I saw all of that. And so it piqued my interest. To be honest, every time someone is scheduled to be executed, it piques my interest because while I'm not really for or against the death penalty, it always does catch me by surprise when somebody's being executed because it's like, wow, we're still doing this, right? And so I don't want to get political or anything like that, but I do find it interesting, when, we're, pro-life and all those things. It's like, wow. So, just like we're going to kill a person. Like it's honestly, it blows my mind every time. Like, wow, like it's 2024. We're still doing this, right? But we are still doing this apparently. So it had piqued my interest. The whole Innocence Project, has been something, that I've been interested in for a few years now. So it's I said I was going to keep this short, so I'm not going to go down that route right now. So, because it's a scheduled execution, it's already piqued my interest. Now I'm reading it. I see knife sheaths. I'm like, give me a freaking break. Like, come on. So, anybody who's following my channel knows that I've been following the Bryan Kohberger Idaho 4, Idaho student massacre very closely for, almost 2 years now. And so the knife sheath is the, smoking gun in that case, so to speak. So the reason that the knife sheath sticks out to me in this case is because Felicia Gale was reportedly killed with a knife from her own home. So them even mentioning this knife sheath is interesting because it's like, well, where did the knife sheath come from? Because I assumed that she was killed with a kitchen knife from her house, but still we have a knife sheath in the evidence. And so one of the reasons, aside from nothing tying him to the case, is that, they're claiming that evidence had been tampered with. So this is very interesting to me. It's very interesting, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So the prosecutor's office, the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office, is supporting Marcellus Williams and his claims of innocence. They have been fighting to have this execution stopped. And so when the prosecutor is in alignment with a defendant or former defendant, something seems off. It's like, well, how did we get to this stage of the game if the prosecutor's office is on his side? And if the prosecutor's office is on his side, how is it that yesterday he was denied clemency? How is it that motion to vacate the conviction was approved by a county trial judge? Then it was quickly contested by the Missouri Attorney General. The case is tossed back to the same judge, and then he reversed his decision. What is going on? What is going on? And so it frustrates me because, someone said, like, is there something to this, or is this another person trying to avoid being executed? And, I understand self-preservation. I understand not wanting to die. I understand not wanting to be executed. I understand, hey, I didn't do this. It's bad enough I've been in prison forever, but I didn't do this. He was already in prison anyway, right? So he was in prison for robbing a donut shop, which is, low down, but it is what it is. So he was already serving a 20-year sentence for robbery, right? But then you add now I'm being executed. Yes, I robbed a donut store. I did not kill this lady. I don't know this lady. Maybe he did or didn't. But he's like, I didn't do this. Right? The witnesses being dead is really like a plot twist, But it's... everybody hollers conspiracy, we start talking about tinfoil hats and all this when something isn't cut and dry and people start looking into see like, well, what's creating this mess, right? So when people start looking at things that way, there's those who, get snarky and, oh, here we go again. Oh, everything isn't something and it doesn't have to be a conspiracy. But hold on. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. So if you think that this is ridiculous, you are entitled to that. I think that there's something to this. And the main reason that I think that there's something to this is that the prosecutor's office is on his side. The prosecutor's office is leading the charge to get him out of there, to have this overturned. So they had a motion to vacate the conviction, and a trial judge said, all right, cool. And then the attorney general comes in and was like, nah. What are y'all doing? Hold up. Keep him right where he's at. Excuse me, judge. What are you doing? And then the judge was like, oh, sorry, I was tripping. Never mind. Never mind? What? So then yesterday, the Missouri governor and the Supreme Court denied clemency. And so now his execution is supposed to go on as planned. But I'm like, what the heck? What the heck is going on? So as I'm reading, I see that at least 200 people sentenced to death since 1973 were later exonerated, which includes 4 people from Missouri. I am of the belief that one person incorrectly sentenced to death, especially if they are executed for something they did not do, is beyond egregious, beyond this should not happen. We have a justice system that is supposed to avoid these kind of, like, death. When life in prison is a thing, right? It's not like if you are found guilty, you must die. That's not how this works, right? There's plenty of things. He got 20 years for robbing a donut shop, right? So I guess with the way that the Missouri court is looking, if you can get 20 years for robbing a donut shop, I guess getting executed for something you didn't do kind of lines up. Now, I don't know. I did not look into this guy's rap sheet. This could have been his 17th robbery. And maybe that's why he was just like, hey, this is the kind of stuff that he does. But to stab somebody 43 times seems very excessive when you just went in there to snatch a purse and stumbled across a laptop. And, a laptop in 1998, would have been a good find, right? So maybe that's why it was an easy sell for the jury, because he's, always been up to shenanigans. Maybe that's why the higher ups, the Supreme Court and the Attorney General and all that, and maybe that's why they don't want to hear it, because they're like, listen, did you see what this man was up to in the 90s? This man couldn't keep himself out of trouble. Maybe that's why they're like, I don't want to hear it. If he didn't do it, oh well, he did enough stuff to make it believable. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. But for me, I just think that this is, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to keep an eye on it throughout the day and see what comes of this. But, with watching the Bryan Kohberger case so closely and having my doubts and seeing how many things aren't really cutting the mustard over there, and then seeing a case like this, it just really is unsettling, because at the end of the day, if Marcellus Williams was not the man who killed Mrs. Felicia Gale, that means her actual murderer got off scot-free. Now, there's a chance that they could be dead already, because the two witnesses are already dead. So, it's possible. It's possible that, her murderer ended up in jail for something else, or has since died by some other way. But if Marcellus Williams is going to be executed today for something that he didn't do, that just means that somebody got away with it. And that sucks. Him getting executed for something he didn't do sucks. But her never actually getting justice also sucks. And so when we talk about the Idaho 4 case, and when we talk about whether or not Bryan Kohberger did it and how there doesn't seem to be any evidence, this case right here shows that you don't need any. And Bryan Kohberger could still be sentenced to death for something that he maybe didn't do. And even if you have the Innocence Project and the prosecutor's office on your side, even if you have a judge that hears you out and says, oh, wow, all right, okay, sure, yeah, let's overturn this conviction, there are still people higher up that could say, oh, no, you won't. I have always been of the belief that there was more than one person who carried out the crime that took place at the King Road house. I don't think that Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana were all unalived by one person, by the same person. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. But that's the story that we're being told. And if it turns out that Bryan Kohberger is convicted and all his appeals fail, and one day he's sitting there in the same seat as Marcellus Williams right now, waiting execution for something that he knows he didn't do, I just wonder how the families are going to feel. Not after the cameras go away, right? Because This happened in 1998. It's now 2024, right? So just because Brian Koberger is convicted next summer doesn't mean he's going to be executed by Christmas, right? So in between the conviction and the execution, and when the cameras go away and everybody stops talking to Steve and Christy Gonzalez and the other kids, they've graduated from the University of Idaho when they put it all behind them, and what are they going to think when they lay down at night and it's just them and their thoughts? What are they going to think? Is Brian Koberger being convicted and executed going to be enough to satisfy their need for justice? Or are they always going to wonder if there's other killers, helpers, or just somebody different altogether who got away with this? Justice isn't anybody will do. Somebody has to pay. I don't care who it is. That's not justice. When these kids go and do the mass unalivings at school because they were bullied, that frustrates me thinking about the families whose kids are unalived and they had nothing to do with it. It's just somebody who came to school with the axe to grind, and now everybody has to pay, and they don't even get the bully. The person who tormented them, or the people who tormented them, they don't even get them. They just get innocent kids that are at school doing what they're supposed to do. This can't be that. That's not justice. That's vengeance. That's revenge. Is that what we're after? Just anybody? And if you're okay with just anybody, does that make you any better than the person who did it? It's just, I'm hurting, so somebody else has to hurt. I don't care who it is. I'm hurting, so somebody else has to hurt. Is that what we're doing here? I don't know who Marcellus Williams pissed off, but he has the prosecutor's office on his side. He has the Innocence Project on his side. And for some reason, nobody wants to hear it. Just like with Brian Koberger, when they said that the guy, I think it's Edelman, who did the survey, he typically works with the prosecutors. And when they said Cy Ray typically works with the police. And now he's on the side of the defense. When things like that happen, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder what's happening behind the scenes that people who typically work to put bad guys away are working to get someone acquitted or exonerated. Like I said, I'm not going to be here too long today. That's all I got. But like I said, I'm going to keep watching this closely, and I don't know if this is justice for Felicia Gale. I'm going to look and see, what her family has to say. I got work, so boo. I can't get into it as much as I would like to, but I guess when I get home later, I want to check in and see what's going on in the news. But there's another guy set to be executed in Texas today. And there's 2 more executions scheduled on Thursday, one in Alabama, one in Oklahoma. So, this is a thing. This is the thing. People are still getting executed left and right. And that is our justice system. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please share this video, like it, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about Marcellus Williams. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about the case. Let me know what you think about the death penalty. And let me know what you think about the Bryan Kohberger case. I will be talking about that again very soon. That's all I got. I'm out.